Support for 100 Watts and a Wire is brought to you by 100wattsandawire.com. To subscribe to the show, simply click the RSS feed. While you're there, apply for your free 100 Watts ID and learn how you can help make 100 Watts and a Wire listener supported. Click the donate page and pick the option that works best for you. We've got a traveling toolkit, 100 Watts and a Wire gear, and more. That's 100wattsandawire.com. And ICOM. Communication has never been so fun than with ICOM. From D-Star to SDR, ICOM uses the most advanced technology in their radios.
And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Earl. Earl Bailey. You can hear Earl on Sirius XM if you have the satellite and you're into deep tracks. He programs that channel, hosts on that channel, and he's like an encyclopedia of music. And that voice, good God, man. That voice. But he's also a dear friend and a mentor to me, and I appreciate him so much. This weekend, WMMR in Philadelphia, that's where I met Earl and many other of my great influences. My mentors really took hold and started to shape my philosophy in Philadelphia at WMMR. Over the weekend, WMMR celebrated their 50th birthday. Now, there were a handful of rock stations in the late 60s to hit the air. KSHE here in St. Louis just celebrated their 50th. And now, yesterday, officially, WMMR is 50 years old. There's a little bit of a difference between rock stations in different cities and what they do, I've noticed. And not to get too deep into the weeds there, but KSHE here in St. Louis, they've got a great history. However, they've homogenized a little bit. You know, I don't even think they're live in the evenings and overnights anymore. So that's a difference between philosophies. Congratulations to them for reaching 50 years in one market, especially in the corporate commercial radio broadcasting thing it's become. But I'm going to talk a little bit about WMMR in Philadelphia and what it means to me. I don't listen to much commercial radio. And yesterday was the 50th. April 29th, 1968 was when WMMR was born. And here's why it's important to me. Many of you are saying, look, man, you've been talking about being from Baltimore. What gives? What's this? All that's true. But I've also said we're more than just amateur radio operators. You know, we're fathers, and we're sons, and we're brothers, we're sisters, daughters, aunts and uncles. We have jobs, we have things that we're passionate about. So yes, amateur radio is part of it. That's our common theme. But for a moment, I'd like to talk about radio, because radio, this sort of radio, amateur radio, CB radio, the exposure to it in the late 70s is what created a career for me. 25 years in commercial or public broadcasting grew out of my father's passion for the Citizen Band back in the 70s. This is also why you won't hear me bash CB radio ever. I just won't do it. It was the seed that grew where we are today. Yes, I am from Baltimore, and I worked for WIYY, which is 98 Rock, for a couple of years, and it's the station I grew up listening to from 1996 to 1997. I was on the air at WIYY in Baltimore. And over the moon, I was really persistent in calling the program director, leaving messages saying, you know, it's going to snow this weekend. I have a Jeep. I can come and pick up the talent. I'll take the morning show in. I'll run around town. Please listen to my demo. And I would do this weekly, and I was so persistent. Rick Strauss was the program director at the time. Incidentally, he moved to a different radio station in Philadelphia. Now he's back at WIYY in Baltimore. Maybe I need to call him again just to say hello. But I remember he called me and said, I should at least meet you. You've called me so many times. I should at least meet you. And that's how I got my audition with WIYY in Baltimore. Stayed there a couple of years. An opportunity came up, a chance to move to Philadelphia, which was at the time Market 5. And I really was, conflicted about it, because here I am working for the station that I worked and listened to my whole life. When the summertime was out, school was out and summertime would come, they would play School's Out by Alice Cooper. And it was official. Summertime began when Alice Cooper hit 98 Rock. So I was conflicted. I wasn't sure I wanted to go to Philadelphia, and I wasn't sure. They told me, look, do it. Go. Go, boy, go. Go. It's a good thing I did, because from a career standpoint, I had more opportunity there. The on-air personalities, the DJs at WIYY in Baltimore did not change. They didn't change. I would have been doing weekends and the rare overnight or whatever it was, which is fine. But, I looked for something more. I was interested in doing nights or maybe afternoons. You know what I mean? I wanted an opportunity to grow. Well, 98 Rock had heritage, man. Those people stayed in place for years and years and decades. So off I go to Philadelphia. A blue-collar kid from Baltimore, and now a blue-collared city called Philadelphia Market number 5, and I just loved it. I just loved it. I still love the city. I love the food. I've got great friends there. And over the weekend, WMMR celebrated 50 years. 50 years. I remember when we celebrated our 30th and our 40th. Well, yesterday, the 50th birthday of WMMR, and it has always been an institution. For me, it feels like Saturday Night Live. You know how Saturday Night Live has this great history of characters? For me, that's what WMMR would be. And I got there and I met Earl Bailey, who was, an amazing talent, big talent. Pierre Robert, who's in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Joe Bonadonna, who hired me. Bubba John Stevens. Michael Tierson. These people were institutions. I knew about Pierre in Baltimore. It's like that. And there were a handful of rock stations that went on the air in the late 60s. Casey was one of them. Big stations in New York and Cleveland. And WMMR in Philadelphia. On April 29th, 1968, that's when it began. And I listened to probably 4 to 6 hours of Pierre yesterday celebrating the history, bringing up all this great heritage and highlights of the past. And that is why that radio station has been around for 50 years. It celebrates its history, its heritage. So congratulations to the crew and all my friends there in Philadelphia and the listeners. It's really about the listeners. It's about the people. And that's what shaped my philosophy with regard to radio and what we do here now. It's about the people. You serve the people. And if the people connect with you, they support you. And that's how it was for me. I did afternoon drive in Philadelphia, was fortunate enough to stick around long enough to get to number 1, to be number 1 in Market 5. At such a young age, I needed mentors and people to put my head in a perspective and a way to think about things. And really, it boiled down to, this is about the people that you serve. It's about the music. It's about the institution. And so the people who would get their head in the wrong space, they may not have lasted long. They always did hire well at WMMR, I thought. And since I've gone, I don't know. I can't speak to the character of everybody they've hired, you see. But there's an understanding when you come through that door. You see it on the walls. You see the pictures of Mick Jagger wearing a WMMR hat on stage. You see Bon Jovi. You see Bruce Springsteen. Heck, they're going to have a birthday party this Thursday. Bon Jovi's playing, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. But a significant link to that radio station. So thanks for putting up with that. Maybe some of you have fast-forwarded to conversations about ham radio. But again, these are the things that make me who I am, why I'm here. Started back with a CB radio, went into broadcasting when I could, as early as I could, as soon as I could. 25 years later, here we are. And we do this together every week. So I appreciate that. Congratulations to WMMR in the city of Philadelphia. I hope to see you soon. There's a luncheon for the alumni in September. I'd really like to take my girls there and go back to see the city, hug my friends, and hug them and hold them. Man, time moves fast. Time moves fast. We'll come back. We'll talk about Walmart. Nope, not an advertiser. We'll talk about them next.
When in doubt, hang 'em high. This is 100 watts and a wire.
The SDR you have asked for is here. ICOM's new 7610 is a high-performance RMDR with the ability to pick out the faintest of signals even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, an independent dual receiver, and dual digi-select. And whether you're looking to enter the world of D-Star or need a backup D-Star portable for your Go kit, the ID31A Plus is the perfect radio. It's easy to operate, the ID31A Plus, and it's available in silver, red, or gold. It features worldwide digital communication. You can share pictures and text messages. IPX7 waterproof. It's compact, lightweight, and tough. Hey, are you going to Hamvention 2018? Become one of the 100 lucky winners to take home a limited edition swag kit. Visit ICOM's website to enter, and you can visit icomamerica.com/amateur to learn more about all ICOM radios.
Nominations are now open for the Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. Since 1986, we've had the honor of celebrating the accomplishments of youth in ham radio, and we want to know about your exceptional young ham. You'll find the rules and a nominating form by clicking the YHOTY tab on arnewsline.org. Fill it out, send it in, and we'll see you and an amazing young ham at the Huntsville, Alabama Ham Fest in August. Thanks, and 73 from Amateur Radio Newsline.
From wireless to Wi-Fi, this is 100 watts and a wire.
Well, file this under to each their own. I thought it was a joke at first. Walmart parking lots on the air. I started seeing posts about this, and I kind of chuckled inside. I got to say, you feel, ooh, what are we going to do next? WAWA on the air? Oh, I would do that, man, and I would eat so much. WAWA. Talking about Philly and the East Coast. I will tear some WAWA hoagies up. And the coffee is not a sponsor. Should be a sponsor, but either is Walmart. Walmart parking lots on the air. On the 28th and the 29th, they were working FM satellites. For me, I'm going to pass here. Pass. Not my bag. Maybe I'm just not there at the satellites yet. But again, to each their own. If that's what you want to do, get out there in your pajamas and head on out to Walmart's parking lot. They are big enough to host an event like this. curious to see how many QSOs were made, how many people went out there and did it. I think it's a fun thing. And in the end, just because it's not my bag and I pass, doesn't mean I don't think you should do it. Just be happy. Do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do. You're not hurting anybody. Go out there and do what you want to do. I saw some brother sitting out there in a shopping cart holding up his antenna waiting for the satellite to go over. People out there in their PJs and, yeah. I hope it was fun for you. I really do. I think I'm glad that it was just a weekend thing. Do you know they may have more success if it became an HF thing, but can you imagine the amount of Walmarts in this country? I don't think old Sam Walton had this in mind. You know, I'm not even going to get into like who gets paid what. You know, traditionally, women who are doing the same job as men at Walmart aren't getting the same pay, but that's maybe they've rectified this situation, but that's how it was not too long ago. But old Sam Walton probably didn't see this coming, man. They really took that enterprise to a whole new level. And if hams were going to work parking lots of Walmarts, I guess you could do that with a lot of things, huh? WAWA, 7-Eleven, out here in the Midwest, QTs. I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I hope you had a good time with it. Another special event I wonder if people really care that much about. You know, Prince Harry's getting married to Meghan Markle. Well done, Prince Harry. There's going to be a special event with a call sign GR9RW. And they're going to be on the air in May, from May 19th to the 23rd. And that royal wedding is going to take place on the 19th at St. George's Chapel. I can't go. I did get the invitation, but no. They're going to have 2 HF stations, 1 VHF station. They're going to be on all bands. So check them out. There's a QSL card available. Again, I think that's cool. Special events are fun, man. I think special events are fun. And if they have a cool card to go with it, by all means, have a good time when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle get to kicking it on May 19th. A couple other things I want to mention before I go. I'll take a quick break here, hit our final spot, come back. I've got a cute piece of audio I want to share with you, and a little bit of information about the toolkit next.
You're listening to 100 Watts and a Wire.
Bio-NO Power lithium iron phosphate batteries offer some of the best performance batteries for any of your HF or other mobile ham radios. With over 2,000 charge cycles and a battery that is super light, only 1/3 that of AGM or lead-acid batteries, these batteries are a great solution. Visit bionopower.com or contact dealers nationwide, including Ham Radio Outlet, Ham Source, PowerWorks, Comms2Go, Impulse Electronics, Portable Zero, and many others. That's Bio-NO Power, BIOENNOPOWER.com.
100 Watts in a Wire. Upgrades.
All right, let me share an email I got this past week with you. It says, "Hey, pal, I feel like I know you. I love the podcast, and I love coffee. Listening to you helped me to want to do more and to be able to check into the 100 Watts in a Wire net. So last night, I became Kilo 4, Kilo Tango Victor /AG. Thanks for what you do. 73, 73s, and 73. Brian, he is 100 Watt ID 2557. Congratulations, Brian. That is excellent. Thank you for the note. If you're studying for your test and you want to upgrade, let us know. You go to 100wattsinawire.com, click the upgrade page. Let us know how you're doing. Speaking of 100wattsinawire.com, you know the 100 Watts in a Wire tune-up is coming up June 8th through the 10th. Some of you are saying, what? Well, we know that the ARRL Field Day is in June as well. This happens before it. We call it the tune-up. Now, I've been out to a couple of sites, and I've been to a field day, and I know people sign up and they are assigned different jobs. Well, what happens if you've been building an antenna and you want to try it for field day, but on field day you're working with your club and can't? Well, the tune-up happens June 8th through the 10th. You can set up your own antennas, go out to a park if you like, go out in your own backyard. We'd like to exercise our equipment, our bodies if you can, and if you need to, stay in the shack. Everything's fine. You can run any amount of power you like. Just get on the air. The exchange may sound something like this. Find yourself a frequency. You're going to ask, of course, is the frequency in use? Listen. Is the frequency in use? Maybe don't say it like that. Maybe, is the frequency in use? Listen. Is the frequency in use? 3 times is pretty standard, but at least do it. Do it. And then call CQ 100 watts in a wire tune-up. Exchange your name, your call sign. A true signal report is always appreciated, I feel. And if you have a 100 watts ID, share it with the person that you're working. If not, and they asked you about it, what it is, you can send them to the 100wattsinawire.com webpage. And remember, you don't have to just work 100 watt IDs. You can work anybody, but let them know, hey, if you don't need to have it to make this contact. It's not part of this deal at all. But if you're interested, go to the website and go to the gathering page. And it happens, and you'll get it in a couple days, no big deal. But some people are sharing them, and it can be part of your exchange. Teach people. There's so many people listening, but there's so many more who don't know about us, and it's a good chance for you to say, oh, man, 100 Watts in a Wire is this. It's a podcast each week. It's a community. We're on social media. We have a net. Lots of cool stuff. And a couple of times a year, we do these activity days. Not a contest, but hey, if you submit your totals, you could win some prizes. Speaking of Chameleon Antenna, they've just produced this new Chameleon MCOM 3 for portable operations. I imagine you can use it as your base station if you want to. We're giving one of those away. PowerFilm Solar is going to give away a 30-watt panel. Radio Waves is in. I have to talk to Emmett about what he wants to do. He likes to make those 40-meter double bazookas. Again, not a contest. It's a random drawing at the end of the Activity Day weekend. Activity Days. You go back to 100 Watts in a Wire, click on Activity Days, submit your totals. Very simple. You're put in a random drawing. If you win, we hook you up. It's just that easy. Okay. The 100 Watts in a Wire Toolkit is another feature that has really done well. We have people queued up 2 and 3 deep. And now that spring and summer are here and coming, we get more. So while you're at the website, if you've got a project coming up, you can look at our toolkit, see what's involved, see what's there. Antenna analyzer, different tools to help you make power poles or to help you put on a 259 connector on your coax or help you along so that way you don't have to buy everything. It's much cheaper to get this toolkit. What's the catch? No real catches here. We simply ask that you pay it forward, which means about $12 to $13 to send it to the next ham. Because they did that for you. But you don't have to buy all the tools, which is great. All right? It's in its 20th state right now. An anonymous donor contributed this toolkit, assembled the toolkit and its bag and the perfectly shaped box that it goes in when it's mailed. people who request it and receive it put their QSL cards in there. They fill out some information. There's a log in there that's keeping track of the projects. I need to get Jeff DeConti on the show so we can talk about some of these projects. I'm curious to see what states we've been in and what projects we've helped people. But it's in its 20th state right now, which is excellent. It's a time-honored tradition to share tools, and I'm so proud that we can do that here. I want to leave on a cute piece of audio. Vance, November 3, Victor Echo Mike. He's been with the show listening since the beginning. He's got a young daughter. Her name is Lucy. She's 6 years old, and she's making a contact here with Brian. Brian's out in my neighborhood running around the states. He's worked all of the parks, or the state parks here in Missouri. We're going to have him on the show as well. His call sign is Kilo Zero Alpha Tango Zulu. And he was out in another park when Vance helped his daughter make the contact. Here's the audio.
Have fun and enjoy it.
KA4CH73. Truly big signal. You're 20 over. I had to reach up, turn the volume down. Thank you for the call. Beautiful sounding station. This is K08TZ for Parks on the Air. Yours at
November 3, Victor Echo Mike.
The Mike station. Come again?
November 3, Victor Echo Mike.
November 3, Victor Echo Mike. Let me clear that. November 3, Victor Echo Mike. Vance. That doesn't sound like Vance. You're 5959 at Kilo 3791.
Vance is my daddy.
Hey, Brian, that's my daughter calling out for you. She suddenly got Mike right. You're a 5'9" in Central PA. QSL, man. November 3, Victor Echo Mike. Appreciate you putting sounds like your daughter on the phone there. 73, my friend, thanks for all you do. You guys have done a tremendous job. This is going to be a lot of fun. You bet. 73, N3, VEM.
I'm going to make that my final, friends. Thank you all for listening. Congratulations to Philadelphia for having the best rock radio station on the planet. Celebrating their 50th. Proud to be a part of that tradition and that heritage and to be an alumni. I got to say, a lot of people may come and go through places like that. Radio can be a revolving door. I left on my terms. I left on good terms. And it's always a pleasure to be able to go back. And I celebrate from afar out here in America's heartland, your 50th birthday. To you, salute. Is that what you say? I don't know. What do you do? I know how you doing. I don't know about salute. What do you do there? There's a couple things. A cheers. Cheers to all of you. That ought to cover it, don't you think? All right, man, woke up to disturbing news. It's all over the world, and if you let it pull you down, you can, but you need to be aware of it and things that are happening in our world. It's a very tough world at times, and it can bring you down. I heard of Afghanistan this morning, 2 suicide bombers, killing children, killing journalists, and it can be tough, man. It can be really tough. Don't become immune to hearing it. Don't push it aside. Just try to keep your spirits up. That's what we need to do. We need to lock arms and rise together through it. And by all means, if you see someone struggling with depression, when all this is coming down, try to lift somebody up. Take them out to a museum. Take them to a ball game. Because it can weigh on you. Don't become immune to hearing it. That's why I left the NPR station here in St. Louis, the NPR affiliate here. Every time I turn around, car bombing kills 46 in Fallujah this morning. On the way in, I hear, 30-some people killed in Afghanistan, people blowing themselves up in disguises. I didn't want to become immune to the feeling. I want to feel that, but you have to be careful. You don't want to let it bum you out. You don't want to go too deep into any direction. Try to stay balanced. And if you can, by all means, please try and stay above the noise.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsinawire.com.